Welcome to the first ever episode of Finance Unfiltered, the only place on YouTube where we tell you what's actually going on with money today in a way that anybody can understand without all the CNBC nonsense. You do not need a degree to understand this stuff, only a few minutes out of your day and somebody that's going to explain it in a way that actually matters to you, and that's my job. Today is April 21st, 2025, and a lot went down. Let's go over where the market tanked, what's going on with Trump and the feds, why your groceries might be going up soon, and what you should be doing to actually protect yourself. There's a lot to break down today, so let's just dive on into it. So first up, we have the numbers. The S&P 500 down 2.4%. Dow Jones down 2.5%. The Nasdaq, you guessed it, down 2.6%. Now, if you're not into stocks, you might be thinking, why should I care? Well, let me break that down for you. When the markets tank like this in one day, it's not just about rich people losing money. This could also affect your retirement accounts, your rent, your job security, or even your next grocery bill. Next up, let's talk about the tariff war, because President Trump made headlines again today. This time, he's calling for aggressive tariffs and he's even threatening to remove Fed Chairman Jerome Powell. Yeah, you heard that right. Trump publicly said that he wants him out because he's not cutting rates fast enough. Now here's the thing, that kind of talk terrifies investors. Why? Because the Federal Reserve is supposed to be independent. It's their job to balance the economy, not play politics. If this impacts the feds, we risk inflation spiraling, interest rates tanking, and people making short-term moves that affect the long-term economy in a negative way. It was all the way back in 2018 when Trump imposed the first wave of tariffs on China, and within just 6 months, global trade slowed down. Not only this, but inflation rose and US farmers lost billions in exports. History doesn't always repeat itself, but it rhymes. And right now, we're hearing the first few bars of the same old song. Next, we're going to talk about the UK stepping in and global free trade tensions. All the way across the Atlantic, UK Chancellor Rachel Reeves is on a mission. She's flying into Washington to push back against Trump's protectionist stance. She's trying to convince all the other world leaders to not follow Trump into a trade war cliff. Now, why does this matter? Because global trade affects absolutely everything. Take your iPhone, for example. It's made from 20 different parts from 20 different countries. Your coffee? It's imported. Even the gas in your car comes from global markets. So when countries start fighting over trade rules and tariffs, we pay the price. Next, we're going to talk about the domino effect. Currency, gold, oil. Alright, let's zoom out. The US dollar dropped 1.2% today, its lowest price since April 2022. This may not sound like a big deal, but when the dollar weakens, everything you import gets impacted. Gold hit an all-time high of $3,403.90 per ounce. That may sound good, but that's a sign that investors are scared. They're running out of stocks and running into something more safe. Oil tanked, with Brent at $66 and WTI at $62. This is because US and Iran negotiations progressed, and people are scared of slower global growth. So on one hand, gas prices might slow down a little bit, but on the other, investors are bracing for rough times ahead. So now, let's bring this all back home and talk about what this actually means to you as the viewer. So, this is for all the students, part-time workers, small business owners, and side hustlers. So, if you're investing in a 401k or a Roth IRA, expect volatility, but that does not mean to panic sell unless you want to lock in losses like a rookie. Next, if you've seen more expensive bills at the grocery store recently, expect more of that, because tariffs means more expensive imports, and less supply equals a higher price. Next, if you're thinking about buying a home anytime soon, you may want to hold back on that because the Fed tension may delay rate cuts, which in turn means mortgage rates may stay high for a while. Now, if you have a side hustle or online business that's importing goods, your margin rates might get squeezed a little bit. That just means it's time to diversify or raise your prices smartly. Alright, let me take you back to 2008 for a second. The market was collapsing, people were panicking, and a lot of people sold their investments for a major loss. But what happened after that? The people who stayed calm, kept investing, and bought during the dips won substantially during the long run. Today's loss might feel like a disaster, but honestly, it might just be a little reset, a tiny bit of pain before the next big jump. Just like in 2008, the winners will always be the ones that will stay calm, keep investing, and learn how to pivot. Alright, so let's do some things you can actually do this week. First off, check your portfolio allocation. If you're too tech heavy, you might be exposed. Next, if you haven't already, start a high yield savings account because they're paying over 4% with interest rates still. Third, automate your investing because dollar cost averaging will protect you from days like this. Next is to track inflation sensitive purchases and think ahead for bulk buying products. And lastly, if you're a business owner, prepare to pivot vendors or suppliers. Diversify your sources. Now it's only Monday. This week is not over. We have Tesla, Google, and a few other major earning calls coming out later in the week. Now, if those disappoint, expect more volatility. But if they beat expectations, we might see a mini rebound. Now, I'm going to be breaking that down every single day. No fluff, no bias, just real world finance talk that helps you actually make money. Now, if you learned anything in this, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who's always complaining about how money's too confusing. Now, I'll see you tomorrow where we'll talk about what the world's doing with money and how to make sure it doesn't screw you over.